Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. For those of you who don't know me, I am in mainland Spain. That's the crazy part of the world I'm living in. And it's getting crazier by the day. Or is it? It's always been crazy, probably, but I'm learning a lot of things about Spain, which I'm going to be talking about in the members live tonight. But anyway, first of all, just before I get going with this story, because what I'm going to talk to you about in this video, I've been meaning to do for a while. This lady up in the right hand corner is Edna Quintana. And she, for any of you that are following the Suzanne Morphew case, she must be Barry Morphew's least favourite person, because this poor lady disappeared herself and still has not been found, incidentally. And that's what we're going to talk about today, about what happened to Edna. You know, what could possibly have happened to Edna and why has she not been found yet? But while the police were searching for Edna, they actually found two other bodies. And one of them, of course, was Suzanne Morphew. Let's have a look at Suzanne, which we've been covering this case. This was an incredible discovery because Suzanne had been missing, I think, about 4 years at the time. Went off on a bike ride, supposedly, allegedly. A bike was found, her helmet was found, but she wasn't. And her ex-husband, or estranged husband, Barry Morphew, he was indicted at the time, but there wasn't enough evidence. He was released. But he has now, this is his mugshot. He has now been arrested again because now, thanks to looking for Edna, which, you know, it's horrible to think that Edna has gone missing. But, you know, where something positive can come out of something negative, it can't, you know, it's always something good, isn't it? As Barry now has been indicted for Suzanne's murder, and this is an ongoing case that we're following. So, but the other thing is that you may not know, even if you know that, is that while Edna was being searched for, another body was also found. And somebody who was murdered also, or thought to be murdered also. And we're going to talk a little bit about him too, James Montoya. He was also found. So unfortunately, Edna was not found. And the search goes on for Edna, and that's what we're going to talk about mainly in this video. But I think what struck me was, as I was researching for it, been researching it for a little while, and today I just thought I need to get and do, you know, because there's always in the world of true crime, there's unfortunately there's always something else coming up or some news about a case we're covering, etc. And today I thought I'm going to do this video about Edna before, you know, time's just moving on. And then when I started researching it more, here's another picture of Edna. I just found out all these other things. So it just struck me, you know, how we are in a chain, aren't we? You know, Edna probably never met James or Suzanne. And here she is entwined in their lives. And maybe because of her, some other people, families are going to get some resolution to what happened to their loved ones. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Edna needs finding. And whatever happened to Edna, which we're going to look at the different possible things that happened to her, and whichever one of it, what it was, accident, foul play, or whatever, I think we can safely assume that Edna probably, unfortunately, is no longer alive. But yeah, so how lives are entwined, how our lives are entwined and can affect people that we know nothing about and they know nothing about us. And it's a strange one, isn't it? Anyway, so that's what we're going to talk about. But first of all, I just want to say thank you. Just a quick thank you to everyone for watching, for liking, for subscribing. All of you that contribute positively to my channel in whichever way it is. Thank you for those who buy me a Ko-fi, send me a super sticker, PayPal me, send me nice emails, leave nice messages and comments. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. No, that's it, I think. So, Edna, gosh, and this place where Edna and these other two, and Suzanne and James have been found. Let's have a look at this place, because in the Sun newspaper, which I know is a bit of a lurid newspaper, but they describe this place. Let me see where these bodies were found. They call it the boneyard, I think, or something like that, because it seems to be, yeah, the boneyard. So we're in America. We're talking America, Colorado, Moffat, Colorado. Let's have a look at the video. You know, so while you're looking for, I mean, it quite often happens, of course. You know, looking for one body, you find others. You know, that quite happens with river searches and things. And, you know, the thing is, although it's very sad news when a body's found, of course, as far as a missing person is concerned, it's terrible news. It's not good news, is it? But having said that, when a family's been searching for their loved one for a length of time, not knowing what's happened to them, at least they get to know what happened to them. So it's that cold comfort, isn't it? It's like they can at least bring their loved one home. They haven't been able to do that. Edna's family haven't been able to do that yet with Edna. But the search for Edna has led to two other families. Well, you know, so about Suzanne Morphew's family, of course, her two daughters are on their dad's side. But are they now? Now that Suzanne's remains have been found, who knows? We'll see how that case pans out. For James Montoya's family, I expect they are relieved, at least. That's what other word can I, you know, the resolution that it gives them. It's a cold comfort. They've been able to take James home. They've been able to bury him. And it seems like James too was murdered. And the hunt is on for his murderer. So hopefully then they will get the justice as well. And as I say, you know, it doesn't bring James back, but it's better than never knowing. So yeah, let's have a look at this video on the Sun website.
Searches leading to the discovery 5 months since in the 5 months since Edna went missing, the family says investigators have conducted multiple searches, leading to the discovery of 2 other bodies.
I believe it's a coincidence. I'm glad that in these searches for Edna, 2 other families were able to get some closure, and now we would like the same closure as well.
Yeah.
One was found last week along Highway 17 near Moffat. Yesterday, law enforcement confirmed it was Suzanne Morphew, the Salida woman that has been missing since Mother's Day 2020.
Yeah, so since Mother's Day 2020, I just think Barry Morphew, when he heard this news, I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall to see his face, because he thought he'd been so clever, didn't he? And when he beat the last indictment, the case was dropped. He was, indicted for murder. The case was dropped. Obviously, they didn't have enough evidence. Without a body, it's not impossible, is it, to prosecute someone for murder? But it's not easy. It's now they have Suzanne's body. They've done tests on it. They found she's got tranquilizer in her system and things like that. So, the case is being prepared against Barry, and he's been arrested again.
2 months before Suzanne was found, investigators found a different body west of Saguache Peak off of a county road. They identified the body as James Montoya.
Yeah, poor James. Another body. So this is like a dumping ground, isn't it? You can see it's wilderness, isn't it? It's not very, it's not loads of trees, are there, or things like that. But it's a wilderness, I suppose, that nobody ever goes to. And the only reason the police were there is they were looking for Edna.
Montoya, a man from Lakewood, missing since April.
So interesting, isn't it? That. Oh, hang on, I didn't mean to stop sharing there because I want to read you the article as well. So yeah, it's like a burial site, isn't it? Where everybody, look, the locals have described the area where missing mum Suzanne Morphew's body was found as the boneyard after a series of eerie discoveries in the past few months. Cops were searching for missing woman Edna Quintana when they stumbled on Suzanne's remains in a shallow grave in Morphew. So yeah, it just... I suppose because it's such a wilderness that people go there. But you would be noticed if you were there digging a hole, wouldn't you, at the end of the day? So here's Edna. Poor Edna. Where is Edna? Why? And there's Suzanne, of course. Poor Suzanne. Why hasn't Edna been found? So it's a very strange story. So some have said that stop it. Some have said that the seclusion of the area makes it a prime dumping ground. Saguache County is getting a reputation for being called the boneyard just because they found over the years so many bodies or bones, said Corinna Montoya. The body of her 26-year-old son, James, was found in the same area in July, 3 months after he vanished. And then on September 22nd, the police found Morphew. Which they wouldn't call by the surname. It's so disrespectful. The police found Suzanne's body at the boneyard after she'd been missing for more than 3.5 years. And both sets of remains were found during the search for 55-year-old Edna. Gosh, it does make my blood boil, these contemptuous journalists. Who disappeared in May 2023. So it's straight. So all those 3 people now, their lives are intertwined, even though they never met each other. So Saguache in Colorado is a small town of roughly 550 people. So this is it. This is a tiny place that Edna has disappeared from. And she lived there. That it seems like probably Suzanne and James, their bodies were taken there because it is such a remote place. But as far as Edna's concerned, she lived there. Edna is very shy, very humble, very quiet, very soft-spoken. Augustina Edwards, who is Edna's cousin, told the local radio station, "You will probably not find anyone in Saguache that has a bad thing to say about Edna." However, other family members said that Edna was not involved with a very good group when she vanished. Her disappearance has sparked a 5-month-long search with little to no answers for her family. Anyway, so her cousin did say, "I'm glad that in the searches for Edna, 2 other families were able to get some closure. Now we would like the same closure as well." So now, as far as James is concerned, he'd been missing since April of this year, before the police found his body by chance. And his family says he was last seen in a bar in Lakewood. But his remains were found more than 4 hours away in Saguache County. Someone was looking for their family member, and that's how our son was located, Corinna Montoya told KRDO, whoever the radio station. So she said that the Saguache County is off the beaten path, which makes it a prime dumping ground. You could spend a significant amount of time in an area and not be seen by anyone, not be noticed and have time to do just that, she said. James's family remember him for his unique personality and infectious laugh, and the police are still investigating what led up to his death. So I'll just show you a picture of it. As I say, we are going to be really talking mainly about Edna, but of course these stories are intertwined. We'll go back. This is James. This is the person who's suspected of killing James. Suspected. Allegedly. The police are looking for them. But that's probably, that's another video, isn't it? And yeah, so our heart goes out to them. So this is Corinna, which is James's mum. Said she's hopeful for Edna's family as the search for her continues. Our heart goes out to them. We're praying for them. I just hope they have some closure that we found. And then it goes on to talk about Suzanne Morphew. Well, I'm not going to talk about that only because, we talked about Suzanne a lot. That's an interesting map, isn't it? So this is where her body was found. And you can see the home where she was last seen is quite far away. Barry was working up here near Denver. Anyway, so what we're going to concentrate on, though, of course, is Edna. What happened to Edna? Very strange case. Let me just find. Because of, as usual, I've got too many windows open. So yeah, the same closure that James's family have found and Suzanne's, although of course Barry Morphew will be absolutely raging, won't he? I bet he was raging when he he heard that her remains had been found. So he thought he'd been so clever, didn't he? And it seems again, we don't know until the trial comes out and it's confirmed, but they seem to think that that is not Suzanne's first resting place. That she was somewhere else. They can tell by the decomposition and the animal activity. They did say an insect activity. The police have said, or it has come out, but again, needs to be confirmed. It won't be till the trial happens that we get all the details. That it was likely not where Suzanne was first, when she was murdered. So put there later. He thought he was so clever, Barry. I think, yeah, didn't he? He thought he was so clever. Waited till things died down a bit, hid her body in a place miles away from anywhere, from anywhere anybody would be looking. And he did not realise that Edna would go missing. Anyway, let's have a look at this video.
After her disappearance, the remains of Suzanne Morphew have been found in Moffett. It's about 45 minutes south of the Salida area where she lived. Well, tonight we're learning Suzanne's remains were discovered while CBI was searching for another woman, Edna Quintana. And this isn't the first time that the search for Edna led to human remains. Gabriella Vidal spoke with Edna's sister tonight. Gabby.
Yeah, and she's a mother of 5. And of course, this family has been mourning her disappearance for the last 4 months since this happened. Now, Edna's, her family says that the mother disappeared back in May, and questions around that still remain as to what happened. And now with Morphew and the discovery of another body this summer in Saguache County, they hope this case brings even more attention to hers.
She's caring and she cares about family. She loves her kids.
Marilyn Quintana is speaking to me from a remote part.
5 children. So that's 5 children. No, then maybe they're adults now, but missing. 5 people have lost their mother. But not only that, which is bad enough, but I've no idea where she is or what happened to her. Look at this area. It's not got trees, has it, in that sense? to be difficult. Like some terrains are difficult. Looks quite flat, in fact, but it's just so large and so desolate. Yeah.
Part of Saguache, Colorado. While the cell reception is unclear, what is clear, the pain her entire family continues to feel for her sister, 56-year-old Edna Quintana, now missing since May 3rd.
Me and my mom and my brother were worried she hadn't came over because she was coming over every day, if not every other day.
Marilyn says it wasn't until a few days later her cousin told her Edna went hiking with a boyfriend on May 3rd. At one point, Edna went back down the mountain, but the boyfriend couldn't find her when he went back to the...
Yes. So this is allegedly what happened. Edna went walking with a boyfriend, went hiking. Now, I don't know. I respect the police know. If Edna was a regular hiker, was this out of character to, as I think I've said on one of my last streams, if I ever go missing and someone says, oh yeah, we went on a hike up a mountain. We didn't. We definitely didn't. I don't go hiking up mountains. So the family and friends, etc., will be able to tell the police, is this something that Edna would have done, or is this suspicious? This friend of hers, boyfriend of hers, that says they went on a hike up the mountain. I'm sure they're being investigated. They'll be the first person to be investigated, and they may be completely innocent. We have to remember that. But this is what is said. Oh, sorry, that's my dog squeaking his toy. Shut up, Riley. That's what we have to remember. Is it true that they even went on a hike in the first place? A bit like Suzanne went on a bike ride.
Car. CBS Colorado is not naming him at this time as he's not yet been listed as a suspect. The details about what happened to Edna are still fuzzy, but it's in her search that other remains have been found in Saguache County. James Montoya's body found in July while the Colorado Bureau of Investigation was searching for Edna.
Well, I was shocked and surprised, that the person was all the way from Lakewood all the way here in Saguache, and I don't know, I feel for the family too. I mean, we're going through the same thing, but at least they have closure, just like the one that they found in Moffett. They have closure now too, even though it...
Yeah. Now, it must be sort of like, it's like, oh my God, our relative, our loved one's gone missing. I just realised I've been pronouncing this place wrong all the time. Saguache, I think she called it, Saguache or Saguache. Anyway, it doesn't matter really. But, see 2 people being found too, and yet still Edna has not been found.
It was 3 years.
Well, CBI wouldn't confirm with CBS Colorado who they were searching for when they discovered the remains of Suzanne Morphew this week. Barry Morphew's attorney says in part, quote, it was the Saguache County officials that fortunately stumbled onto Suzanne's remains last week while looking for another missing woman, Edna Quintana.
They really mean that? This is Barry Morphew's lawyers. Fortunately stumbled onto Suzanne's remains. I bet it was more like, oh my God, unfortunately.
Frustrating because, we just want her to be found.
Oh.
We just wanted to know what happened.
The CBI has still not provided any press conference or additional comment on Quintana or the recent discovery of Morphew's remains, but we will continue to monitor this.
Here's another one, Quintana, Morphew. Don't even say Miss Quintana or Mrs. Morphew. There's no respect whatsoever from these mainstream journalists. It drives me absolutely crackers. It's disrespectful. How would you like it if it was you or your family and people referring to you like that?
As more information becomes available. Karen?
Yeah, Gabby, hopefully they'll be able to find
Yeah, Gabby, what's your surname? We'll call you by your surname, will we? Horrible woman. Oh, it drives me mad, honestly. So, as you know, it's a regular rant of mine. Call them Suzanne Morphew or Mrs. Morphew or Ms. Morphew, not Morphew. Say. Okay, so her sister said, I miss her because I was always able to talk to her. said Marilyn Quintana. 56-year-old Edna Quintana has been missing since May the 3rd this year, which was, I think it's quite a couple of years ago now, isn't it? Have we got a date there? 2023, yeah, so that's 2 years, isn't it? She's been missing. We just passed through May not long ago. So her sister Marilyn spoke with CBS Colorado from her home in, I've forgotten how to pronounce it already, Saguache, I think, where Edna was also from. She's caring, she cares about family, she loves her kids, she's a good person. She's a good person to where she's not somebody you would want to harm. She travelled back and forth between Saguache and Center to see her children, but Marilyn tells CBS Colorado she more recently spent her time with a man she'd been seeing for about 2 years. Now, she wasn't the other suspicious thing. Now, as I say, this man has not been named. He has not been named as a suspect, so his name has not been released. We don't know who he is. Well, somebody knows who he is. But at the moment, if he did have anything to do with Edna's disappearance, he's walking around free. Probably until, again, the police will be looking for the body. The body helps, doesn't it? So at first, Marilyn had no idea her sister was missing. So this man did not report her missing for quite a while, as far as I remember. In fact, I don't know if he did. So, Lakewood resident James Montoya's remains were found back in July, while the Colorado Bureau of Investigation was investigating Edna's disappearance. I was shocked and surprised that the person was all the way from Lakewood, all the way in Saguache. I don't know. I feel for the family too. We're going through the same thing, but at least now they have closure. Just like the one they found in Moffat, which was Suzanne. They have closure too, even though it was 3 years. So the CBI would not confirm or go into detail with CBS Colorado who they were searching for when they discovered the remains of Suzanne Morphew. But Barry Morphew's attorney issued a statement affirming that investigators were looking for Edna. It was the Saguache County officials that fortunately stumbled onto Suzanne's remains last week while looking for another missing woman, Edna Quintana. What needs to be done instead of pointing fingers at Barry Morphew? This didn't age well, did it? He's asking the officials about the number of missing people and number of human remains that have been recovered in or from Saguache County in the recent past. So what, they're trying to pass the ball there, pass the buck. Oh, don't concentrate on Barry Morphew. Don't cast aspersions on him. Let's talk about all the other bodies. Can't we talk about both? So whatever happened to Crystal Raisinger? I don't know about that woman. Edna Quintana, Suzanne, the man, that's James Montoya, whose remains were found in the foothills on July the 26th, or the remains of the person found in another area in Saguache County. I mean, there do seem to be a lot of bodies found, but not Edna's, at least not yet. What were the circumstances of their disappearances? What is cause and manner of death of the remains found in the area? What happened to them? Are they looking for other remains? What do you think Barry's defence is going to come up with a defence that there's a serial killer on the loose or something, and it's nothing to do with Barry? Marilyn says it has been frustrating not to get any answers in her sister's disappearance, but she does hope this latest discovery sheds an even greater light in her case. Who's to think this is going to happen to you, to us? That's it. Nobody expects it to happen, do they, at the end of the day? Not to you, not to your loved one. But of course, unfortunately, it does, doesn't it? So, happens to normal people. Now, it's difficult sometimes to find details of Edna's case, but because Suzanne Morphew's case is more high profile, isn't it? For various reasons. But anyway, I just want to show you this about the prayer vigil that they had for in October. Prayer vigil for Edna Quintana, the missing woman they were looking for. Edna will always be the woman they were looking for when they found Suzanne Morphew's remains, because Suzanne Morphew's is a more high profile case, isn't it? So that's why I wanted to do this video just about Edna and try and highlight Edna, because Edna needs found, you know. And I mean, the good thing, if you like, or the positive thing, apart from the fact 2 other bodies have been found, is that it shows that the police were looking for Edna. They weren't just, you know, and Edna's case is different, isn't it? Edna, these 2, Suzanne and James, and as I said, I don't know anything about the other person that was mentioned. That's a whole nother one. They were found miles away from where they lived, whereas Edna lived there, you know, so she is local to that area. So where is she? So the discovery of Suzanne, you know, I don't think there's an article that I read about Edna that doesn't include Suzanne's name. They're intertwined, you know, for bad reasons, but good reasons as well, because it's good that Suzanne's body was found. But it's bad that it, you know, had to be Edna who's gone missing. But now Edna needs found. So the discovery of Suzanne Morphew's remains has brought attention to the case of the Saguache County woman law enforcement. The Saguache County woman law enforcement was originally looking for. A prayer vigil is now scheduled for this weekend as her family clings to hope she'll come back to them. Well, do you know what? You've always got to cling to the hope that she might be okay somewhere, but you know, I'm sure they know they don't need me to tell them. It's after nearly 2 years, or just over 2 years. It's unlikely, isn't it? Bless her. So on September the 27th, the world learned about the discovery of Suzanne's remains in Moffat, but there's a lesser known but equally distressing story, the disappearance of Edna Quintana. She went missing in May at the age of 56 while on a hike with her companion. The searches conducted for her have led to the discovery of 2 bodies, Suzanne and James. The Quintana family, now organising the prayer vigil, is determined not to witness the same tragic outcome as their cases. We hope that that is not Edna's fate. We hope that is not how Edna comes home, said Augustina Quintana Edwards, Edna's cousin, expressing the family's collective hopes for Edna's safe return. The vigil for Edna was scheduled for, this was 2 years ago, November the 4th, at the St. Agnes Catholic Church, where anyone who knew her and loved her is welcome, or was welcome. The family says this vigil will also include prayers for the families of Suzanne Morphew and James Montoya. Oh, look, I'm getting emotional. So this was like the flyer. Please join us for a prayer vigil to uplift the family of Edna Quintana, the Saguache community in the San Luis Valley. I mean, if you lived in that area, didn't they say there was only 500 people lived in that area, and then all these bodies that are found? You know, it must be quite scary, because even though it's not perhaps, well, maybe you've got a murderer living in your midst, because we don't know what happened to Edna yet. But it seems like murderers are coming from other places and dumping bodies there, aren't they? You know? Gosh. So yeah, the community will definitely need uplifting as well as the family. A non-denominational community prayer will be held Saturday, November the 4th, 2023, 5 p.m. Light refreshments and fellowship to follow at the Saguache United Methodist Church. Be still and know that I am God. Shine bright for Edna. So Edna, because they're using Quintana on this. So even when they're doing like a tribute, someone talking about, this nice video for her and everything, they're still calling her Quintana. Fuck's sake. Edna was a cherished member of the tight-knit community of Saguache. I hope I've pronounced that right, but anyway. A town of approximately 500 people. She was known as a very kind and caring person. You won't find a person in the town of Saguache that has something negative to say about Edna. The Quintana family is working diligently to ensure her case remains in the public eye. They encourage everyone to share the details of the vigil and Edna's story. And then it goes on to talk about Suzanne. So Edna was last seen on a hike with her companion, so this is what he says happened. She was having problems on this hike, he said. So he told her to go back to her car on her own. Let's just let this sink in for a minute. They're on a hike in some wilderness. Edna's having problems. What problems, I don't know, whether she couldn't keep up or whatever. So he said, go back to the car on your own. So didn't go back. So he carried on his hike. I mean, he's not been named as a suspect, and I can't say that he did anything to Edna, but I still think, regardless of whether he did anything to Edna or not, that's just a lousy thing to do, isn't it? Imagine you're out in the wilderness hiking with your boyfriend, your partner, and then you can't keep up, or you start to feel ill or whatever, and they say, oh, just go back to the car on your own. I'll see you when I finish my hike. Whatever. Actually, I think that deserves the Pinocchio. We say, if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. Doesn't make sense to me that you'd be out in the wilderness hiking with your partner and they get into difficulty and you just tell them to walk back. A woman as well, just tell them to walk back to the car on their own while you finish off your hike. Whatever. But apparently this is what happened. And when he returned, surprise, when he returned to the car, Edna had gone. She wasn't at the car. So he initially ventured, he says, back into the mountains to search for her, but he did not report her as missing. What? 2 days later, it was her sister who reported her disappearance when she hadn't heard from Edna. And when the sister asked the companion why they hadn't been able to get a hold of Edna, Augustina said the companion said he had Edna's cell phone and purse. So he sent her back. Right, okay, let's get this straight. So Edna and her companion hiking in the, woods, mountains, wherever it was. Edna gets into difficulty. In what sense, I don't know. Maybe she gets breathless, maybe she can't keep up, maybe her legs, feet are hurting, who knows. So he sends her back to the car, according to him, but not with her cell phone either. So what happens to Edna if she trips up and breaks her leg, or someone tries to attack her? She hasn't even got a telephone, and she hasn't got her purse. Come on, Pinocchio. I'm going to get me Pinocchio. We could do red flags. That's another thing we could do. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this out as a premiere and I'll be watching it with you. And if you remember, put your, members have got the Pinocchio emoji. Let's put the Pinocchio emoji out. Red flags. this is not right, what this man is saying, is it? But I'm sure the police are aware of that. Hopefully, a prayer that we're going to say for Edna, that they find her, and this person, if they are guilty of doing anything to Edna, which we don't know that they are, but some, you know, as the family say, Suzanne's been found. It's hopeful that it will get found out exactly what happened to Suzanne. James has been found, and they are searching for someone in connection with his murder. And now Edna deserves that resolution as well, that justice. Her family deserve it. So, unfortunately, it's essentially the same circumstances as Suzanne Morphew's case. I don't know what makes one case newsworthy and not another. Yeah, it's an odd thing, isn't it? You know, who knows? Edna's case obviously has not been so high profile. But the good thing is, if there's anything good, it's because of the finding of Suzanne that it has spotlighted Edna's case, because there are a lot of missing people, unfortunately, out there. Who know? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, Suzanne Morphew's case is a very intriguing case. I think that's got a lot to do with it as well. You know, the suspicion that was on Barry, and then him being indicted for a murder, and then, you know, that being thrown out, etc. All that has contributed. And I'm sure if, you know, if when it comes up, when, we're going to say when Edna is found one way or another, hopefully it's a positive way, but it's not likely, is it? I mean, you know, they don't even know what clothing she was wearing, because this companion, he didn't even bother reporting her missing. You know, from what he's, if it was true, let's just imagine for 1 minute that this total fantasy might be true. So, you know, he's sent her back to the car. He knows she hasn't got a phone. He knows she was having problems for whatever reason. And he gets to the car, she's not there, and he just goes home and, you know, makes beans on toast or whatever. Carries on with his life, even though she's disappeared. I mean, and whose house was it? I don't know if it was his house or her house he went back to, because we don't know anything about this guy yet, do we? So we welcome the coverage. We want her name out there. We want her face out there. We want the coverage of her case, because we want it to stay out there. Now, I don't know if you know, the police are still looking. Hopefully. So Suzanne Morphew's sister, Melinda Balzer, echoed this sentiment in a statement urging the community to turn their focus to Edna's case. Oh, sorry. I'm getting emotional, because you know what? These families are intertwined. You know, Suzanne Morphew's family, James Montoya's family, and Edna's family, who never even knew about each other at all before. Suddenly, their whole lives are intertwined, aren't they? This is, you know, this just struck me this morning when I was researching this, and I just thought, just shows you, you know, we are all intertwined in one way or another. You never know, you know, what effect you are having on somebody, do you? In all sorts of different ways, not in such a dramatic way as this. You don't know if one throwaway comment you make, how it might affect somebody, and how it might affect how they treat somebody else, and good or bad. You know, you should always say positive things to people. Sometimes it's hard when people are nasty to you. It's hard not to be nasty back, isn't it? But we shouldn't be, really. But you know what? We're human beings, not angels. So you know, we just do the best we can, don't we? But this is an extreme case of people who previously never even knew each other's names, now are intertwined forever, really. So I'm asking the same loving social media community who kept Suzanne alive to now turn their heart, dear me, to turn their heart of care to the family of Edna Quintana in their time of need. So we're going to keep an eye on this case. I mean, really, until Edna's found, or maybe until any charges are brought against her companion or any new news, maybe there won't be much to talk about. But again, she'll join that list of cases that I'm following. Don't let go of a case once I start following it. Any updates, whether it be months in between, we will keep an eye out for this. So this was her endangered missing alert. Edna is a 55-year-old white female who was last seen on the 5th of March, according to that guy. Edna was in the area of Saguache County when last seen and would be on foot. She has medical issues and there is a concern for her health and well-being at this time. Family have been unable to reach Edna and she never returned home. White female, 55, they're saying 55, 55 years old, brown hair, brown eyes, 5'4", 145 pounds. And Edna's family is using the hashtag. So, I must write that down so that I'm not very good with hashtags, but shine bright for Edna. So if you're on any of my social media, Facebook, Twitter or X, I'm going to use that hashtag. Please share it. The thing is, when it's missing people like this, I do have chatters all over the world. And you just, you'll say, oh, well, this probably won't reach anyone all the way over there. But you just don't know, especially if you share. You've seen what social media can be. Shine bright for Edna. Share that hashtag. Just keep her name and story in the spotlight. The family remains steadfast in their hope that Edna will be found and returned to them, appealing to anyone with information to come forward. To Edna, if you are watching, we love you, we miss you, we just want you home. Call or reach out to someone to let us know you're okay. If you need help, we will come and get you. Come home. Marilyn addressed Edna in her statement. So she's still missing. Here you've got the contact details. If you know anything, contact the Saguache County Sheriff's Office. And the Quintana family clings to hope and prays for Edna's safe return as they refuse to give up in their search for their beloved Edna. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? Sad. Where is Edna? Let me see if I can find anything about her boyfriend. As the police will be keeping very tight-lipped because they haven't charged him yet or even named him as a suspect. So let's see what he said. Might find something, just some bits and nuggets of things. Okay, so apparently her sister last saw Edna on Monday, May the 1st. She'd got off work and headed to their mother's house where Edna was helping with dinner. Edna had been at their mother's house again on Tuesday, but when Marilyn called her mother on Wednesday, she said Edna had not called around and she had inexplicably left her clothes in the dryer but hadn't returned to get them. So her sister Marilyn sent her a message reminding her to go and pick up her laundry. And when Edna didn't respond, Marilyn tried calling her. Again, no response. I sent Edna a message that night and I was kind of mad. I figured she would call my mum the next day, because she usually did when she was mad at her, to tell my mum, when I was mad at her, to tell my mum I was mad, but she never called. So on Thursday, Marilyn spoke to someone in town who knew her sister well, who mentioned they had not seen her lately and thought it was odd. And when Marilyn got to her mother's house that evening, she learned that Edna still had not come by to pick up her laundry. Then one of Edna's friends and Edna's boyfriend came around the house asking if she was there. That's when she phoned and called the police station, but they said she had to wait 48 hours. So anyway, then she went to her cousin's house. And when she went to her cousin's house, Edna's boyfriend was at the house. And this is what he said. Because this is what her cousin's husband told her, that Edna and her boyfriend had gone hiking in the mountains on Wednesday, 3rd of May. At some point during the hike, Edna had decided she didn't want to go any further, and she turned to go back down the mountain. But when the boyfriend returned to the car a while later, she wasn't there. And Marilyn was baffled by this story, almost as much as she was baffled by the fact that while her cousin's husband was telling her this strange story, Edna's boyfriend was standing right there, leaning casually against the wall, acting like it was no big deal that the woman he'd been seeing for 2 years had just walked off into the wilderness without him. When Marilyn asked him why he hadn't told her this when she saw him on Thursday, the boyfriend said he hadn't said anything because he knew that Marilyn didn't like him. Marilyn told the dispatch, I explained to him it was only common sense that if something like this were to happen, he should tell one of us. And then he dropped the bombshell. He had her person's cell phone. So Marilyn demanded that he hand them over, and now she knew without a doubt something was very wrong. There is no way that Edna would leave her purse and phone behind. Edna's boyfriend said that when Edna wanted to turn back, sorry, I think I'm going to have to put the Pinocchio on again. Sorry, I'm not sharing this, am I? But it doesn't really matter for the listening, but let's go. Let's share this that I'm reading. So Edna's boyfriend said that when Edna wanted to turn back, he told her not to go far because he wouldn't be able to hear her. He also said that he thought Edna had been waiting for a car to pick her up, that he'd heard a car backfire. Gosh, let me just show you. This is, let me show you what I'm reading from. This is Bite-Sized Crimes, and is a podcast, just to give them their credit. I mean, gosh. So now he's saying he heard a car backfire. So Marilyn told Edna's boyfriend to draw her a map of the mountain where they had been hiking, to point out the space where he'd last seen Edna. After filing an official missing persons report, Marilyn headed up the mountain, taking Edna's ex, her children's father, with her. They searched the rugged terrain for Edna, hoping for even the smallest sign. Edna's not there, is she? Edna's nowhere in that area, is she? Something happened to Edna, perhaps in the house even. This is the feeling I'm getting from this case, and it is a feeling, nothing more. Edna is not there. That's why the police haven't found her. They're finding all these other bodies. But are they likely to find Edna there? Or has Edna been taken somewhere else? So they noticed it wasn't far from County Road 46AA. Maybe Edna had made it to the road and hitched a ride. They started knocking on doors along the road, asking residents if anyone had seen Edna Quintana, but no one had. Okay, then she got a phone call. The police were at her house asking questions about Edna. And when I got there, everyone was telling the cops the story again. The guy my sister was seeing only talked about everything for about 5 minutes. He told the cops very little and he didn't seem very worried. I don't know, none of it really adds up. So by this point, she'd been missing for 3 days. She didn't have her phone or a wallet, and she didn't have the medication she needed for her seizure disorder. The family were convinced she'd fallen victim to foul play. No, it's still possible. If she had this seizure problem, she may have had a seizure, mightn't she? She may be there somewhere. I'm just getting this feeling that she was never there in the first place. But surely the police can tell that by phone records. You know, the data, was she in that area ever? So her cousin Augustina told her son, Edna unfortunately didn't keep the best company. It didn't matter to her what your past was or what kind of person you know. I think what she's saying is it mattered what kind of person you are now. She would be your friend because she was just a kind person. Maybe someone took advantage of that kindness. We don't know. But she would never leave her children. There is no good reason for a disappear like that. So it's been handed over to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. They issued this endangered missing alert, but nothing. So then the search continued, centering around the mountainous area where she was last seen. And that's when they found these other 2 poor unfortunate people. So, yeah, again, it just says, although they're disappointed that they haven't found Edna yet, they're still grateful that 2 other families have been given some closure. So, that is the story so far of Edna Quintana. And this poor woman, she needs to be found. She needs found for her family. Some resolution, whatever, you know, as I say, hopefully it'll be a more positive resolution, but doesn't look very likely. You know, seems likely, doesn't it? Just seems likely. And, you know, I know we shouldn't say things, but, you know, just being honest, seems likely that she won't be found alive after all this time, but who knows? Maybe there was a car there. Maybe someone did spirit her away. Now, just before we finish, I just want to show you this about James Montoya, just so we get a bit of an insight into him as well. So apparently he's known as J. Montoya case. Suspect identified after missing man's remains were found in Saguache County. So they say, the Denver police say they're looking for Jesus Angel Avito, who is wanted on a murder charge. And another person has been arrested on an accessory charge. So let's just have a look at this.
Tonight, police have identified the suspect in the murder of James Montoya, who disappeared from a Lakewood bar back in April. His remains were found in Saguache County 3 months later. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Micah Smith. Officials are now searching for the man they say is believed to be connected to his death. Denver 7's Christian Lopez spoke with Montoya's mother today, who is asking the public for help in finding her son's killer.
This could be your family member, your sister, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your brother, your son.
The past 6 months have been agonizing for James Montoya's family.
My son was a strong individual.
After his disappearance ended in tragedy.
We knew from day one something was wrong.
His body was found in a remote location
Sorry,
in
that's
Saguache
flickering.
County
I'm
in
not
July,
sure why
nearly
that is.
4 hours away from home.
It's been a wild ride. searching highways and byways and ditches and swamps and bridges and dumpsters and alleys and everywhere you can look. And then miraculously, his body was found in a place that nobody would have ever found it, but it was just a miracle.
Now his loved ones are one step closer to getting some justice after Denver police identified the suspect.
We're finally ready to say who we believe is responsible for the murder of my son, James.
Investigators arrested 30-year-old Amber Jean Dominguez, who has been formally charged by the Denver District Attorney's Office as an accessory to first-degree murder after the fact. Investigators have obtained an arrest warrant for 33-year-old Jesus Angel Arvizo for the charge of first-degree murder in relation to this case.
I want his picture out there. I want his name out there. I want people to know this person's not safe. He's not a safe person. And please do something.
James had last been seen leaving the hangar bar in Lakewood on the early morning of April.
Sorry, I'm not sure why this is flickering. I don't know if it's my computer's fault or if it's their fault.
April 2nd, his family says he left with a group of people he did not know. It was a picture he posted on Snapchat that played a key role in helping the family and police identify the suspect.
From what I understand, the police have confirmed that my son just met him that morning or night here at the hangar bar. He denied any kind of involvement. He denied knowing where my son was, and he just totally denied it. But we just knew something in our heart. We knew he was lying.
Detectives learned Mr. Montoya was in a vehicle near 48th Avenue and Bannock Street in Denver when an argument involving Mr. Montoya ensued. The argument escalated and Mr. Montoya was shot and killed inside the vehicle. It is believed the offender transported Mr. Montoya to Saguache County later that day.
Yeah.
Police believe Armizo is in the Alamosa area. The Montoya family is urging anyone with information about his whereabouts to speak up.
Do you have some compassion? Can you have some?
So you're talking about he's gone out. He's met. It's the first time he's met that guy. Somehow they've had an argument over who knows what. Could have been drugs. Could have been a woman. Could have been anything, couldn't it? And he shot him in the car. A guy he's only just met that night. And then this family has been destroyed because of it. But if it wasn't for searching for Edna. Sorry, I think this must be my computer.
If you know where this individual is, there's a number you can call and be anonymous. Please do so. You won't hurt. No one will know it's you. Please reach out.
After everything this family has been through, they are just asking for some closure and justice. Anyone with information about Arvizo's whereabouts is urged to call police. Reporting in Lakewood, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Arvizo lives in Denver, but again, may be in the Alamosa area in south central Colorado, and anyone with information is asked to call Metro Denver Crime Stoppers.
Okay, so yes, sorry about the flickering. Not sure why that is. Maybe I've got too many windows open, probably. So this is the guy that they're looking for this murder. He's probably gone over the border, I expect. He supposedly lived in Denver. I don't know if that's a mugshot photo, but I just get the feeling this might not be the first time that this guy has done something. But anyway. So, James as well. At least his family have been able to, give him a burial. The fact they know what's happened to him. There's something in that, isn't there? Some cold comfort in that, bless him. Again, he's in the prime of his life. And I mean, Edna is only in her 50s. 5 children, still a long life to come yet for Edna, or there should have been. Now, of course, we don't know that Edna is deceased, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But I'm just being realistic, to be honest. So the candle is for all of them, Suzanne, Edna, especially Edna today. I was trying to focus more on Edna. But I think Edna's name now will be inextricably linked with those other 2 people, and especially Suzanne. Because Suzanne's case is very high profile, but that is good because it will, shine a light on Edna's case. And I think as long as Suzanne Morphew's case is continuing, Edna will So the good, like, you don't really see Edna mentioned without Suzanne getting mentioned in that same thing, but you know, it can work the other way as well, and that's good to highlight Edna's case. So you know, if every time we mention Suzanne, we also mention Edna, I think, you know, that's probably what I'll end up doing. So okay, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back later for the mushroom murder trial. Yeah, thank you for caring about Edna, and let's hope her family get the answers that they need. See you very soon in the next video. Until then, may your God go with you, and remember to live and love very carefully. How many people come to a sticky end because of the people they love? I'm not saying that's what's happened to Edna. We don't know yet, but you know, Suzanne definitely. Bye.